everybody, my name is Tommy and today I am going to tell you about flowering, which is plants that have flowers, versus non-flowering plants, which are plants that don't have flowers. Okay, so now let's begin our topic. First of all, I'm going to tell you the life cycle of a plant if we want to know if it has flowers or if it doesn't have flowers. First of all, every time a seed. Some plants also reproduce by spores or by cones. The seed will come down to the ground and then it will germinate into a small plant, or also called as a sapling. First a seedling, then a sapling. Next, when the plant grows to full height, the plant can be a tree, which will take about a few months for it to grow to full height, or a normal plant, which will only take about a month or a month and a half. When it grows to full height, flowers will open from the buds inside, or the petals smash or fly out, and then you have a normal flower. Every type of plant does that except non-flowering plants. Next, the fruit comes to life. For plants that reproduce by spores will come to life. And for plants that reproduce by cones, instead of fruits, there will be cones. And then finally, the seed throws out some seeds. Or if spores or cones, we could just drop them to the ground and they'll all turn into a normal plant. Now let's look at a leaf of a few trees. Now I'm gonna tell you to guess this tree. Well, as you see, it has a thin stem, small curved leaves, so it must be a pine tree with pine cones. Next, this. You see, its leaves are like tiny little pieces of cotton, but those are actually the seeds. So what is this? When you blow and then all the white stuff when it comes out? Yes, this is a dandelion. Now let's look at this one. For this one, it is a leaf of something that you really like to eat. Do you know what it is? Corn on the cob. This is the leaf of corn, and when you snatch off all its leaf, you have its unripe corn. Cook it, and then it turns into your favorite meal, corn on the cob. Now, finally, we have this lotus flower. This lotus flower grows on lotus plants, lotus leaves, of course, and of course lives in water. Now I'm gonna tell you the differences between non-flowering plants and flowering plants. Here are the differences. First of all, the differences. Of course, when you say flowering plants and non-flowering plants, I am meaning plants that don't have flowers and plants have flowers. So we can conclude that the first difference is that one type has flowers and the other type doesn't have flowers. What is the next one? Well, the next one is that non-flowering plants and flowering plants. Okay, so now let's look back to the seed germination. The flower, okay? It will turn into the fruit, and the fruit will give out seeds, which means that all the fruit that we eat comes from flowering plants, and all the vegetables that we eat comes from non-flowering plants. So the second difference is the fruits that we eat are from flowering plants, but the vegetables that we eat are from non-flowering plants. Or we could say the vegetables that we eat are not from flowering plants, but they are from non-flowering plants. Now let's move on to a few similarities. First of all, non-flowering plants and flowering plants. When we say the word plant, we could always mean leaf. So flowering plants and non-flowering plants both have leaves. What is the second similarity? Well, according to their size or their weight or their height, then we can conclude that they both have roots and stems. Finally, the last similarity of flowering plants and non-flowering plants. That is when we take home non-flowering plants and we take home flowering plants, we could see that their leaves are green. So we could say that their leaves are the same color, as well as both of them both have leaves. So now we've talked about the similarities and the differences of flowering plants and non-flowering plants. So now let's summarize everything we've talked about. First of all, I've told you about the life cycle of a plant. Seed, seedling, sapling, flower, fruit, and seed. And then I talked about each type of leaf. The pine leaf, the dandelion leaf, and the corn leaf. Next, I talked about the type of flower. And that type is, of course, the lotus flower. And then finally, we talked about the differences and similarities of flowering plants and non-flowering plants, which are the differences will be that one has flowers, the other doesn't. Fruits come from one, but the other has vegetables. And then we talked about the similarities, which is they both have leaves. They both have roots. They both have green leaves during the spring, summer, and during the spring and summer. Okay, so now that is the end of today's lesson about flowering and non-flowering plants. And see you next time with the lesson on pollination and seeds. Bye!